it as an internet. Okay, so the smallest, you can say the smallest unit that we need for internet is network. Okay, so when we connect two systems together and those two systems communicate, we can say it is a network, the smallest one. Okay. Similarly, there are various types of networks. Let it be in our next slide. These are the various types of computer networks you can see here. That is LAN, MAN, and WAN. Now, what LAN is? If I say you in the layman language, when these computers are connected in a particular, you can say, topology or a particular manner, like this one is the bus topology wherein there is a common single line which is connected to all those systems, then we say that this is a bus topology and this is a LAN. Similarly, many other manners or many other topologies exist, like there is a star topology, ring topology. Okay, so similarly, this is called local area network. That is, for example, you can take an instance that in a building we are sitting and there are many labs in it. Okay, and all of these labs are having, let's say, 20 to 30 computers in it. Okay, and these computers are connected like this. If I say connected to each other, that means they can communicate with each other, right? So similarly, it will form a small network in the entire building or in the entire institution. If you are having, let's say, 10 labs, then those 10 labs are connected to each other. You can communicate from one lab to the another lab. Then that means you have a LAN made there in a building. Okay. Similarly, the biggest disadvantage of LAN was, obviously, as we are concerned, this is local area network. That is, area is the main concern. It is confined to a building, to maybe a campus. Okay, so when we connect these many of these LANs together, then it become MAN, that is Metropolitan Area Network. You can imagine a scenario wherein there is a city and all the LAN present in the city are connected together and it becomes a MAN. That is why it is known as Metropolitan Area Network. Such that you can see in this diagram, there is a school LAN, a hospital LAN, a college LAN, a factory LAN, and n number of LANs. When they are connected together to make a larger entity, then it becomes man. Okay, now again, this is confined to some certain area, that is M, metropolitan only. Now we have to again increase the range of this. Then we are there with WAN, that is wide area network, wherein various continents and countries are together. Here you can see LAN 1, LAN 2, LAN 3, LAN N. These all are connected. Similarly is the MAN, and it makes WAN. That is, your continents, your countries are connected together to make a larger network. Okay, so I hope the picture of network is clear to all of you, right? So another thing that is very frequently, another terminology which is frequently used is internet service provider, that is ISP. Now, what this ISP is? This ISP is actually a commercial organization that provides or subscriptions or connections, that is temporary connections or subscriptions of internet to people, okay, or to organizations. So next we are having now how this network works. Okay, how network and internet are connected to each other, or we can say how we can communicate with another computer who is there, who is sitting there in the remote location, but still we can connect it with the internet. Okay, so here you can see in this picture at the left side that is, this one is a sender computer, and at the right side of the screen, that is a receiving computer. Now this sending computer is sending some digital signals which are then further communicated to modem. This is modulator, demodulator. It will actually change the digital signals into analog signals, which are easier to, travel through internet, you can say. Basically, whenever the communication takes place from computer to internet and further to the receiving computer, the entire message which is sent, whether it is a multimedia message or a text message or any kind of message, the entire message is divided into small units or small packets, and those packets travel in this internet. Okay, so I will not go into the technical details of this because this program is more of generic. So we will talk generically only. So Further, these analog signals or those packets are then connected to the internet. They are sent over internet through ISP, which I have just told you, internet service provider. And then again, at the receiving end, the same thing is followed and the recipient receives the message. Okay, so in this way, you can see networks and internet work together to form this entire communication possible, and that too in just a blink of eye. Okay. Now, when we are saying that we are communicating with one computer to another computer, that means the another computer must have some address or something to which that packet or that message is being received, right? So the address that belongs to computers is known as IP address. Now here IP means Internet Protocol address. Okay, so each computer which is connected to the network, which is connected to the internet, is having a unique IP address. Okay, and that is 32-bit in number. By 32-bit, I mean like this example is given to you. Like these four numbers, these are separated with three dots, that is four binary octets for a convenient notation. Okay, all the IP address which exist are mainly of these four binary octets only, four numbers separated with dots. Okay, if it is 32-bit, right? So this kind of IP address is also known as IPv4, that is Internet Protocol version 4. Okay, till now we are using Protocol version 4 because this much of the users are there, or you can say the range of users is this much. Okay, so this IP address can be either statically or dynamically configured. If we say statically, that means we have to manually enter the IP of this particular computer which is going to connect to the internet. And if I talk about dynamically configuration, that means this DHCP protocol is functional in that case. You can take an example. For example, if I am using internet in my phone and I am on the same time I'm traveling also. So how come this IP address will be like, okay, it will be dynamically configured because I am in a moving way, and it will be configured dynamically. Along with the IP, there is another important terminology, that is subnet mask. Okay, so the subnet mask identifies the computer location, like in the network where that particular location is, where computer is lying. Okay, this is another part which is required in along with the IP address. And more importantly, default gateway also it is there. It provides access to the wider network. Okay, so in this way we have IP addresses, that is four binary octets, and they are also known as IPv4, and because it is of version 4. But now what is happening? Still now, till now, we are using IPv4, that is 32-bit IP. That means by 32-bit, we mean that 2 raised to power 32 addresses are available. That is about 4 billion addresses are there. But as you know, our users of internet, that is user base of internet, is increasing day by day. So for keeping that in mind, now IPv6 is going to be implemented, and side by side it is implemented. We do not have that knowledge because it is happening at the back end. So 128-bit addressing facility is now available. We are switching to it side by side, and this will be like 2 raised to the power 128 number of addresses, number of IP addresses, and it is like 8 groups of hexadecimal quadrats like this. Okay, these are separated with colons, and these are 8 in numbers. Okay, so this would be our new type or new look of the IP, that is IPv6. Okay, so when we talk about the internet, and we see that the communication is so fast that whenever we give we have to email someone, or we have to send message to someone, we just put that address, and within a blink of eye, within fraction of seconds, that particular message is received by the recipient. Okay, so what make internet so fast? How come the packets which we have sent to the internet, when we are sitting in India and we are sending that email or message someone in America, or any transaction we are making to some remote state or remote location, it is going there with a blink of eye, right? How it is so fast? So it is fast because of the protocols which are working behind it. Y- You can see it in the slide. There is a diagram on the right side. Internet works upon IP protocol, right? IP is Internet Protocol because, as we have just mentioned, another important protocol is TCP, that is Transmission Control Protocol. Then TLS, DNS, UDP, User Datagram Protocol. DNS, Domain Name Service Protocol. Then HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So you see this entire suite of protocol work behind it. Then there is ARP, Resolution Protocol, okay, and many more of them. These all together, this family of entire family of protocols means rules, okay. So these standardized rules work behind internet to make it such fast and error free. Okay, so for this, HTTP is the most important one, which we see also in our, whenever we open the browser, in the URL, we see that there is HTTP written over it, and we sometimes wonder what this HTTP is. HTTP is actually a protocol that is responsible for hypertext transfer. Okay, so it is simple and extensible. That is, there will be one system. This system will send a request to the server that please fetch this particular page. Like, for example, here I am sitting as a client, and here in this screen, I am having a browser wherein I'll type that I want google.com. Okay, so I'll type www.google.com, and through this URL I will be sending a request, and the request will be reaching the server, and from in the server it will search out all the pages and fetch me the Google page, Google's home page, and as a response, and it will be displayed on my screen. So you see, it is very simple and extensible. Okay, so any person can use it. Anyone who is not of this domain also, you can use it very easily. It is stateless in nature. And when we are talking about again and again about URL, what is this URL? URL is actually Uniform Resource Locator. That means with this help of this particular URL, we are going to locate the resource. Like, we are going to locate at this particular server, or at that server might be lying in some other country also. In that server, that page is hosted which we want to fetch, and we are giving a request. We are sending request now. We are giving that request via URL. Okay, so in this URL, what we actually need to have, we need to have a protocol, a host name, port, path, and name of the file. As you can see in this example here, we are having a protocol, and protocol is HTTP. You see HTTP, which is used over here in the internet or in the web. Okay, then the host name, the name, like we said, www.google.com. Okay, then further the port number. Sometimes these port numbers are also appended with the host name only, then we need not to you know remember the port name. Okay, and then that particular path, or that particular file in which that file or whatever we want to access is there. Okay, so another thing, another subclass of URL is URI. URI is Uniform Resource Identifier. Now the difference between URL and URI is, URL will uh, bring you the entire file or entire path or entire page. Okay, URI will bring you the particular parameter, request parameter to you. Like here, it's given name anchor. So the anchor, particular anchor value, whatever will be the value, that value will be brought to you, and it will be displayed on your screen, right? Like in this example also, here is written resource question mark a is equals to b and x is equals to y. This is a query. Okay, whatever will be the solution of this query, that solution will be brought to you on your screen. Okay, so we need not to go into the technical details of this. So I hope the idea behind URL and URI and the differences is clear to all of you. Understanding now is, I think, it is much clearer, but let's give a magnified explanation to you. Like user who is sitting over there here in this computer is writing or typing the URL from the browser, and he types this particular URL. Okay, it is being sent over internet. Uh, that is, it has made this request message. Now this request message is having a get method. This is again a bit of technical part. Get method is like HTTP method, which will fetch you that particular request or that particular file which you are requesting. Okay, then your URL will be mentioned, which you have given over here. That URL will be mentioned over here. Again, the HTTP protocol name and its version is there, and many more details like what was the time, what was the browser's detail, okay, and what was the delay time. Everything is written over here in the request message. Now this request message get received to the server. At server end, it will map this particular URL with the files and folders and directories present in the server, in this particular server. And when it finds it, it will give you back that response. If you do not find it, then it will issue you an error page. Okay. So in this way, this is the response message which is generated by the server to the browser or to the client. Okay. So HTTP 1.1, again, this is the version. 200 OK means whatever request of URL you have made for that particular file or page or program, it is found in the server and it is sending me 200 OK. 200 OK is the status code of HTTP, and OK is its notation, and further it will be displayed on your system. Okay, so this is basically internet works upon client and server communication. It is the client server architecture. It works like this, and this entire thing is happening HTTP over TCP IP protocol. Okay, so further, if we move further, now HTTP, we have learned about HTTP. We are clear like what HTTP is. But nowadays, you might have seen that the number of websites hosted in HTTP are decreasing in comparison to HTTPS. You might have also noticed that there is an HTTPS. Now, what this HTTPS is? HTTPS is the next secure version of HTTP. You know, there was a drawback in HTTP, like whenever a client and server was communicating, a request was sent and a response was generated. This request and response message wasn't sent in the clear text format. That is, it was, readable format, such that if some sensitive data is being sent, then this intruder who or attacker, you can say, he can easily read out what is the request being sent, what is the response being sent. He did not need to attack the browser and the server. He just need to get access to the network, get access to the internet, and he can sniff all your information. Okay, so this is why HTTPS, that is a secure version of HTTP, is discovered. And as per it, now here in this example, you can see there is a girl, Helen. Okay, she's making some kind of login into this particular website. She's sending this URL along with the password also. Now, because we are using HTTP, that means the attacker here can easily read HTTP content. Okay. Now, because this is not encrypted, this password is without encryption. Hacker can easily see ABC123 and he can make transaction on his own. He can make this login on his own with this particular website. Okay. But now with the advent of HTTPS, this password ABC123 will be encrypted here. Okay. Now this attacker will not be able to see this. He will see this encrypted format of password. Okay. This makes the system secure. This makes the protocol secure. So that is why you can see that a number of HTTPS sites are increasing. Okay. Now, further, when we talk about client-server architecture model of internet, that means we need to magnify like what is there at the server end. Client side, so we know like if I am connected with the computer and I'm sending URL, okay, I'm sending a request and I fetch that page and a response is given back to me at the from the server on my screen and I can see it. Okay, I can easily imagine or I can easily recognize that I am a client of internet. Okay, but what happens at the server side? We do not know. Okay, so for that reason, this is the magnified look of what server side systems look like, what is the procedure and what all are the participants at the server side. Okay, so here you can see we have mainly these three main actors or three main heroes. Okay, there are web servers. Okay, many web servers. In this picture I'm just showing you one web server, one database server and one web application server, but in actual there are fields of servers. So there is a web server. This web server will check for my request and my response will also be generated with the help of this web server only. Now, what this web server will do, he will see that if I am an authenticated user of this particular website to which I am requesting URL, or where this website which I'm asking him from for requesting him, where it will be found. So it will connect to the web application server wherein all the application are installed or deployed. Okay, if we talk when we talk about web application, that means we are talking about websites. So all and all websites are hosted on these servers over here named as web application server. So this web server will get connect to, there are fields of web application servers. Okay, if by fields of web application server I mean there are huge data centers wherein thousands and hundreds of millions of servers are present over there, wherein all these websites to which we which we access are deployed, and from that this web server find out that particular request, match it up. Okay, and then it will display it overall or give response to our screen. Okay, it will be found on our screen. Now these web application servers are further connected to the database servers. Again, there are many number of database servers wherein the entire data which is stored in these websites is stored. Okay, whatever data is fetched or seen on the websites is fetched from these database servers by the web application server, and the combination of web application server information and database server information is together in the embedded way they are shown to us by web server on our screen. So I hope now server side systems are clear to you, all of you. Okay, so similar way, whenever we use a website, like for example we are making some transaction or we are buying something or online. Okay, so user, what will he do? He will send his username and password and means the credentials to the internet, and at the company side or server side there will be router, firewall, switch, and then web server. As I told you, there are many number of web servers, not just one. So these web servers are like security guards, or you can say gatekeepers. Okay, they will check you whether you are a registered user of that particular website or no. If your credentials, that is the username and password that you have mentioned, is right, only then you are supposed to access this web application server. Otherwise, you will be stopped over here only. Okay, so if you are not registered person or your username and password is wrong, you will be stopped to access web application server and database server. Okay, so this is how a web application work. So till now we have seen what internet is, how internet was made, what were the various types of network and how they communicate with one another using internet, what makes internet so fast. Okay, and what makes internet secure also using HTTPS. Okay, and now we have seen that how a website works. Okay, now we will see how attacker attacks. This is quite interesting thing, that how we know that attacker attacks. Okay, we know how we use internet, we know how we access websites, how we make transaction on the internet banking, via internet. Okay, but how come an attacker can attack us? Attacker is no such person like alien kind of power he's having. He's also simple and regular person like us. He's also a human being. The basic thing is the skills that he's having, the negative skills. Okay, he injects few SQL commands and database that help him to retrieve the credit card details or the passwords that we are using. Okay, so he has that skill only, and he's having this power to negatively extract our information, and hence we are like compromised with the web server. We have compromised web application server, and hence database servers also, because database will get either deleted or modified, and hence our identity will be compromised, right? So you can expect a scenario, you can imagine a scenario like here is a hacker who has retrieved the credit card details. Okay, now once he has retrieved the credit card details, whatever and wherever he want to make transaction, he can make. We will not even get to know that he is making transaction, and only when he has done it, uh, we will come to know about this. Okay, so how to stop it now? Okay, this is the first question which comes into our mind. But before we see that how to stop it, we will have to at least first know that what he do actually. Because it's like similar to that, like if there is some patient, he's going to the doctor and doctor wants to give him medicine to stop that particular disease, he first need to know that what kind of diseases are there. Okay, only then he can give medicine to that patient. Similarly, before knowing that how to stop these attackers, we must first know that what kind of attacks are there. Okay, so let's start with this. This is the first one is malware attack. Malware attack is actually made of two words which are combined together, mal and ware. Mal means malicious and ware means software. So malware is actually a kind of software, you can say worms, viruses, and other kind of trojans, right? They execute themselves and they provide either they disgrace or degrades your computer's performance, or they delete the data, or means they can affect you in any ways. Okay, you might have heard about that there is a virus in my computer, there are worms in my computer. Now what this virus and worms or malware is, they are actually computer programs only, but they work in the negative way. Okay, they will either steal your information and give copy of that information to some other place. Okay, or they will either delete your entire information, you won't be able to access it. That could be some ransomware. Okay, that is also kind of malware. So this is another very important attack, that is malware attack. Okay, then further we are having phishing attack. Now what this phishing attack is, we have heard, we will in our next coming sessions we'll be getting into the details of what phishing attack is. Phishing attack is basically when you receive a mail, and we being a layman people, we don't know that this particular email is sent by some attacker. We get trapped into that email. Okay, so might be that email is like this email sender is like maybe some XYZ bank who is asking you to change your PIN number. Okay, now you will imagine that okay, I have to change this PIN number because we are thinking genuinely, but that particular email is a phishing email. Okay, so you being a layman person and unaware we are, and what I'll do, I'll change that PIN number, and the moment click submit button, that PIN number, the changed one, will be submitted to the attacker. Okay, and that particular PIN number will again be changed by him and sent to the banking website, and in this way my own PIN number, my own information will be changed by some other person. So this is phishing attack. Okay, then further next kind of attack is password attack. Okay, now what password attack is? Password attack is like any attacker is trying to either guess my password, or he's trying to by hit and trial, he's going to crack my password. Okay. The another method is like with the advent of many algorithms like brute force algorithms, there are combination and permutation which we have studied in our school times in mathematics. It is used, and in that particular algorithm, uh, the total number of you can say alphabets are guessed, like on if the entire password is 8 alphabets long. Okay, if it is 8 in length, that means there will be 8 alphabets in that password, and this means that on the first alphabet, there is a probability of 26 alphabets. Okay, and further in next also there will be probability of 26 alphabets, and then again till 8 alphabets, 8 digits or 8 alphabets or 8 those blank alphabets. With the help of permutation, combination, and probability, I can, that particular algorithm named as brute force algorithm, he can easily guess your password by hitting it again and again with wrong password, and someday it will hit the right password. So you see, rather than cracking or guessing the password manually, there are various algorithms also that can easily attack your password or crack your password or guess your password. Okay, so that is why it is always said that you need to have a strong password. So this is another kind of very important attack that we need to know. Okay, so next further, the fourth one which we are going to discuss is DDoS attack. Here you can see DDoS, that is distributed denial of service. By denial of service, we mean that there is a server to which we request URL, right? You have seen it that on a server we send request via URL that I need this particular page. What if this request message, he is being fired with millions and trillions of requests at a time, and he's unable to give response to. Okay, so this kind of scenario is known as DDoS attack. Okay, in this, a server is fired with millions and trillions of requests at a time that it stops giving service. That is why it is known as denial of service. Okay, distributed denial of service, it stop giving service. So this is another kind of very important attack. Okay, then further we have man in the middle attack. Now, what this man in the middle is, like in the previous example of HTTP and HTTPS, which we have discussed here, this man was in the middle of the client and the server. Like here, this is client, this is server, and this particular person in the middle, he's trying to steal the information. Similarly, man in the middle attack also do the same thing. He steals information while sitting over network. Okay, then further we have drive-by download. Now in drive-by download, when we download few things from internet, sometimes it is written there free software is available over here, free movies are available, free songs are available, and you might have also noticed that whenever we download it, our system works something differently. Either it becomes slow, then we say okay, it might have hit with the virus. So this is drive by download. Whenever we download anything, we must download it from the valid and authenticated and authorized website. Okay, if you're using phone for downloading, then use some Play Store or Apple iStore. Okay, otherwise you should not download it from any XYZ website. Okay, so this is another kind of attack. Herein, inside your downloaded files, there may be rats. Okay, rat is like a remote access trojans. So what this remote access Trojan do, like rats, whenever they enter our house, they make some kind of destruction, right? Similarly, whenever this is also a Trojan, this is also a rat that is remotely accessed Trojan. Okay, so remotely they will be giving access of our system to someone else. Okay, so beware of this kind of attack. Then next we have mal advertising. Now what mal advertising is, like whenever we are getting into the advertisements, like you might have seen that in social media there are various links that are coming up, some Facebook page or something, right? Or not only in Facebook, not only in social media, but on other websites also, there are some flashes or there are some links which are present on the left side, right side, or some flash over there, and we being very interested in that, and now I'll click into it and I'll fall into trap of it. It might be a mal advertising, that is malicious advertisement. Okay, it may lead you to some malicious website. Okay, so this is mal advertisement. The next one is the rogue software. Herein, some software is installed on our system without our knowledge, maybe via drive-by download. Now, this software is rogue in nature. That means it is not controlled by me, it is controlled by the attacker. Okay, so this is another kind of attack. So you see, these are few attacks which we have discussed majorly, and we need protection from these, because these attacks, basically done by the attacker, they do some unauthorized modification, unauthorized deletion, or an unauthorized access to our information. So we are trying to save our information, save our passwords, save our username password, save our credit card details, or our other information, our photographs, or any kind of information we are trying to save from this attacker. Okay, so you see, information is very important thing. Okay, which everyone needs, right? Now what this information is, it is like when you combine data together and it gives some meaning to it, then it becomes information. Okay, now for example, there are three parts of data. Let's say this is date of birth, this is month, and this is year of birth. Okay, and when they are together, only then they provide some meaning, and it become date of birth. Otherwise, if these are numbers only written differently, then they don't have any meaning. Okay, so whenever data is having some meaning attached to it, it becomes information, which we have to make sure that it is secure. Okay, so information security is about securing this particular information only, okay, about which we are talking. Okay, so the attackers attack majorly on this information only, because they need our name, they need our password for internet banking, they need our credit card details for maybe financial purposes, maybe in competitive world, in business world, they might need the code of our project, which is very confidential. Okay, so in this way, any information which can cause, success to other person, can be harmful to us if it gets steal. Okay, so information security can be preserved if we preserve our CIA triad. Now, what this CIA triad is? Okay, what this CIA triad is: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. If these three things we can preserve about information, our information will be safe. Okay, now what information is? It is an asset which, like other important business assets, have value to the organization, and consequently it needs to be suitably protected. Okay, and information security is what? It is a process of protecting that information for the organization. Okay, so as to minimize the risk of exposing this information to some unauthorized party. So we have to work on the preservation of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are the main three verticals, major verticals of securing the information. Apart from that, authenticity, accountability, non-reputation, or reliability, you can say, these are also involved in it. So I'll tell you how these three can be saved, how these three can be attacked also. Okay, and what these three are actually, what role they play. But before that, we have to see like why we need information security. Uh, First thing that I have already told you, like in business, there are competitors. Okay, so the rivalry should not be able to see or to steal our confidential data. For that reason, we need to avoid it. avoid the stealing, we have to ensure this information security. Okay. Then further, we have to take care of the loss of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, by protecting the data and information system, because if it is lost, then our brand and our reputation will be lost. Okay. Further, excuse me. Further, if the productivity is we want to we want to improve or enhance the productivity, we definitely have to follow the best practice, because if our brand is lost, if I am a business person, businessman, and my brand name is destroyed, if something is stolen, some information is lost, that means nobody will trust me, nobody will become customer to me, my customers will obviously I have lost rapport, so my customers will not rely on me, and hence my productivity will be affected. Okay. Along with that, assurance level will also be decreased. So in order to maintain higher level of assurance, I need to have information security. Okay. Then competitive advantage is one of the another important aspect that we want. That is why we want information security. Okay. And along with that, the business continuity and disaster recovery is another two factors for which I need information security. So you see, confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the heart of information security. Okay. And that is the basic principle and objective as well. So we have to first see that how this CIA is being attacked. Okay, so here you can see on the left side of the slide, various factors are given via which the confidentiality of the system can be lost. Okay, now confidentiality of the data means your information is concealed to you only. It is confidential, it is secret, and it is not revealed to other people around the world. For example, your password, it can be. Okay, so that is why we were talking about encrypting your data. That means if you encrypt your data, if you decode your data, it will not go into the wrong hand. Okay. Similarly, another kind of attack on confidentiality would be cracking that encrypted data. You see, if data can be encrypted, it can be decrypted also. Okay, so this is the major disadvantage of encrypting the data, is that it can be decrypted also. So the as we are getting smarter and we are having knowledge, we are conquering this field. So is the attackers also. They are also smart in. They are like also a techie. So these techie people, they definitely find some way. Whatever we put into their way, they definitely find some other way. So another kind of attack is man in the middle attack, wherein they can sniff the plain text. So that is why we were mentioning that we have to use HTTPS. Okay. Then further, data leakage or unauthorized copy of data. Okay. Then further, installing spyware and malware. So these all are the attacks on confidentiality. Similarly, on integrity. Integrity means your information is not modified or updated by someone. Okay, so that is called integrity. Now, how integrity will be attacked? It will be penetrated by some malware insertion, or the records will be forged, or there'll be some unauthorized database scan or remotely controlling zombie systems which will attack this integrity of the information. Similarly, if we talk about availability, then we have already discussed this DDoS attack, wherein the server is flooded with too many requests. Okay, then another kind of attack is ransomware attack, wherein and the information which is ours is kept in encrypted, and we are forced to first pay some money or some other kind of ransom is asked to us, and only then the attacker will uh, decrypt it for us, otherwise it would be inaccessible, that data would be inaccessible. Okay, so these all are the attacks of the availability that can harm our information. So you see, this was a normal flow wherein the sender and receiver both were happy. But once there was interruption by the attacker, then this interruption couldn't, receive the message by the recipient. or there is some modification is there whenever this modification is done by the attacker. Okay, then there is some interception. That means this attacker is just listening to whatever communication is being occurred. And fabrication, now sender is not sending anything, this attacker himself is acting like sender, and he's fabricating things and sending. Again, this is an unhappy moment. Then a loss of reputation means loss of reliability. Okay, now this one is saying that have you got the message, and receiver is saying no, I haven't got, and receiver is asking have you sent this message, and sender is saying no, I haven't sent anything. So that means lack of reliability is there. Okay, reliability loss or reputation loss is there. So you see, when there is interruption over here, when message cannot be reached, that means availability is lost. When modification is there, then integrity is lost. When interception is there, confidentiality is lost. When fabrication is there, authenticity is lost. And when reputation is lost, that means it is non-reputation or non-reliable. Okay. So till now we have seen that how confidentiality, integrity, and availability is harmed. Now next terminology is vulnerability, threat, and risk. Now vulnerability is what? It is a weakness. Like if we I would like to take the example of that patient and doctor again. Now that patient is not having immunity. He is weak from within. So obviously he'll be attacked. Okay. So similarly, whenever whatever asset we are using, let it be, if we talk about network, if we talk about hardware devices, if we talk about websites, if we talk about servers, any kind of weakness over there can lead to exploitation by attacker. Okay. So this is called vulnerability. Whenever any kind of weakness is there, that weakness is exploited by the attacker and it is called vulnerability. Now, what attacker pose? Attacker poses attack, and if that attack is successful, that means it has become a threat. Okay, threat is any event that has potential of bringing harm to the organization or individual. So you see, attacker will pose many threats, and the threat which becomes successful will become attack. Okay. Similarly, risk. Now, risk is directly proportional, or you can say directly dependent upon the vulnerability as well as threat. So more will be the vulnerability, more will be the risk, more will be the threat, more will be the risk. So it's time to fix it. How we can fix it now? We can fix it by identifying the vulnerability, what all weaknesses were there, because doctor will definitely first diagnose what was the disease. Only then it will give you treatment. Okay, similarly, here the ethical hackers or the security auditors, what will they will do? They will check your asset, they will check your network, they will check your server, your websites, your hardwares, your network. They will identify the weakness. After identifying, they will analyze and evaluate that is this weakness, can this weakness be treated, and what is the risk if this weakness is not treated. Okay, and once evaluation and analysis is done, then it will give you treatment, that is it will fix those vulnerabilities. So you see, there is unexpected growth in the technology. There was the evolution of technology. Okay, similarly, when once there is evolution of technology, usage also increases, then the problems also increases, and the solution should also be increased. Okay, so solution evolution should also be there, and it should never stop. So you see, this is the big picture wherein network and the information security is at the bottom, and it is, on the top of it, cyber security is there. So you can see the difference between both. If we talk about our own information, our own hardware, then our own network, okay, then we talk about these kind of securities in network security and information security, and combined form, if we talk about, then that is a cyber security, whenever wherein we talk about malwares, we talk about ransomwares. Okay, so cyber security means protecting data and information network. Okay, so this is in turn we are securing IT and ICT. Okay, so the cyber safety is also similar to it, because safety and security both are the two important things. Okay, safety is like we are already taking protective and preventive measures, and security is like somebody is providing you some protection. Okay, so similarly, IT security is also known as computer security. Now, what actually this means? This means that IT specialists are hired in the organization that keep eye on all the updated technology and your assets as well, in order to make you secure from the malicious cyber attack. Okay, and such that nobody can gain control on the internal systems. Okay, then how to secure yourself? We need to have awareness of what we are trying to secure. Like now we came to know about, after this session we know that information is a thing that we need to make sure that it is secure. And what information we need to make secure? Like maybe it may be your credit card, that is more critical information than your phone number. Okay, so you have to analyze how important that particular information is. Okay, and then you should also know the ways how to secure it. So how to secure it, this is one way. These all come under the awareness. Okay, now how to evaluate it? How to evaluate that if this particular information goes into the wrong hand, what will happen? So that also you need to assess. Then further, you need to take adequate precautions to protect it. Okay, there is no hard and fast or no some technical rule of working against attackers. These are just few tips, you can say, or very common tips. First of all, the very, very important thing that you need to have is common sense. Okay, you need to give answer. You need to, whenever there is a pop-up window on your screen, you need to first read that message and only then give your decision. Don't read computer messages as it is and just click next, 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 next. No, use your common sense, that if somebody is asking me to make transaction, or give me your credit card details and I will give you free gift, then why would somebody give me free gift? Okay, you need to use your common sense. You need to be aware of what actually is happening, what all different kind of things are happening around. You need to regularly update your system, the updated version of your mobile phones, of the applications which you are working to, in your desktop also, in your laptop also. The updated versions of your operating system is must. Along with that, you must have antivirus, anti-spyware, anti-malware into your systems. Okay, be very careful while sharing files. Okay, and while downloading some files or some kind of content from the internet. Okay, use the authorized website only. Use the authenticated website only for downloading purposes. Read the computer messages carefully. Okay, and be careful while you read, especially emails which you do not know. When you do not know the sender, don't even open those emails, just delete it, and never ever try to see the attachments in there. That okay, never try to download it and not even open those attachments to the emails which you do not know. Okay, then keep your password to yourself and keep strong password, which would be the combination of capital letters, small letters, alphanumerics, and with this only you will be able to have a cyber security, cyber ethics, and cyber safety. Okay, if there are any queries, kindly ask me, or you can also drop me mail at currentread@cdac.in. If there are any questions, please you can ask.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightening and wonderful session.
Thank
I
you
think
so
like
much, sir.
almost all the participants might have been understood like the fundamentals of internet as well as information security. So as I told you, like if you have any questions, kindly keep it in the chat area so that we will try to address those queries. I think someone is asking, like when Ms. Neeraj Kumar is asking, can you please elaborate more on the 32-bit or similar kind of thing? Like what is 32-bit? Of course, like you have explained, madam, like, but only thing like I think if you can give more information with respect to the 32-bit, it will be helpful. Hello, Karanpreet ma'am.
Hello, am I
Yeah,
audible?
yes, yes, you are audible, ma'am. Like that,
Actually,
someone, Ms. Neeraj Kumar is asking
right,
about
right.
32-bit.
Okay, okay. I think IP addresses, we were talking about 32-bit over there. I think Neeraj Kumar is asking about the same. Actually, sir, IPv4 is the Internet Protocol version 4. This is the addressing format which we are using. That is Internet Protocol version 4. In that, 32-bit of IP addresses are used. By 32-bit, we mean that 2 raised to the power 32 bit of addresses are there. Therein we use, wherever we use IP addresses, it is always like 2 raised to the power 32 bit addresses are there. Okay, and it is divided into 4 binary octets. Like you have various classes and quadrats are there. According to that, IP addresses are made. Okay, so that is a bit of technical part which you are asking. So whenever you have a unique IP address or unique address, whenever your device is being identified on the this internet, and then it is definitely having this IP address which works accordingly. So your devices indirectly connects to the internet by connecting it to the first it is connected to the network and then it is connected to the internet. Okay, and further ISP provider is further providing you internet services. But when we talk about there are various type of addresses like private IP addresses, public IP addresses, or static and dynamic IP addresses. As I've told you, that it is configured either you can say statically also and dynamically also. So whenever we are talking about IP addresses, that means whenever we are talking about a URL, you are giving a host name. That host name is actually just a name. Okay, and behind that name there is an IP address for that. Because IP address is not easy to recognize or easy to learn, that is why they provide us this domain name or host name. Okay, and 32-bit is like I have told you that there is 2 raised to the power 32-bit addressing. That means it is a format. Okay, 32-bit format with the dotted decimal notation. It contains 2 parts. One is the network prefix and the another one is the host name number. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
when we are switching to 128 bit, that means 2 raised to the power 128 bit, 128 users would be there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I
I
hope it
think,
is clear.
yeah, yeah, I think that's fine, ma'am. That's fine. And I think someone is asking like HTTPS is also get hacked.
HTTPS, definitely. I told you nothing is 100%, right? HTTPS is also hacked. In HTTP, we just have that plain text is not there. It is in encrypted form. And if encryption algorithms are there, there are decryption algorithms are also there. Like right now, if you will get into the more details, some salt techniques and hashing techniques have also come into the picture that are not decrypted. So whenever you add salt to your password, it is definitely with the help of like hashing also can be decrypted, but salt cannot be decrypted. It will also help you to check the error wherever there is, if some modification is done or not. So you see, like we are upgrading ourselves, we are getting more and more, aware, and our evolution at the side of technology is there. Attackers are also getting more and more equipped. Okay, so HTTPS can also be hacked.
Okay, ma'am. And I think Amita Gupta is asking, okay, that we will discuss in the next session, sir. Your mobile application and terms and condition.
Okay.
Mobile application part we will going to discuss in the thing. Not proceed with the app. Okay, that mobile security we will discuss in the second session, sir. Please elaborate on IPv4 and IPv6. I think if you can give the difference between IPv4 and IPv6, it will be helpful. Helpful, ma'am.
Okay, I have shown you these are just addresses, which IP addresses I have told you. These are addresses. Like previously, we were just 4 billion users, but right now, as I have told you, the user base of internet is increasing. That is why we are switching to the IPv4, IPv6. Okay, and the difference between the major first difference between the IPv6 and IPv4 is the you can see the length of it. Like there were four quadrants only, and in IPv6 there are eight quadrants which are divided. And along with that, the another thing is 32-bit address. IPv4 is that one, and 128-bit addressing is the IPv6 one. Okay, another kind of difference is the addressing method. Okay, and the address type also. It is unicast and broadcast and multicast, and the that IPv6 is anycast also. So you see, it is like more of you can say technical details into it, which would not be generic. And if we talk about IPv4, there has a checksum field, but in IPv6 there is no checksum field. You cannot check that whether some error is attached to it or not. Okay. Not only this, another things like fragmentation also occurs, like forward routing and forwarding routes, and it is done in IPv4, but in IPv6 it is done by the sender. Okay. Similarly, there are few routing information also, or routing protocol differences also in IPv4 and IPv6 that makes it more, you can say, operable. Okay. So this was the major difference.
Correct, ma'am. I think many of these sirs and madams you are asking about the presentation, and we will send you these presentations along with the assessment and feedback link. And some of them are asking the mobile security that we are going to cover it up in the second session. And some of you are also asking because of the time like we are not addressing, but since we are going to cover those aspects, like don't worry, like we are going to cover all your questions. And some of them are asking like how securely we can make the transaction, that we are going to cover it up in the fourth session. So I think mostly of the questions were addressed. Where can we use the WAN network? Yes, ma'am. I think this is another
Okay.
question. Where can we use the
WAN
WAN
network
network?
is actually wide area network, you can say. It is a kind of, as I have told you, it is like when we connect various LANs and WAN together, then you can say WAN is there. Okay. And the best example of WAN is internet itself, wherein various networks are combined together, and we use this WAN. Okay. Then further there are VLANs and other VPNs also, right? So in this way, the WAN is, you can say, the almost equivalent largest network, kind of network, which is used as an internet. Okay.
Correct.
So that is WAN.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And as a simple example is, sorry, ma'am, just to add you. See, for
Yes, sir.
example,
Yes, sir.
your company, your department is there. Your department is there. Your headquarters are there in Delhi, and you are also have offices in different locations. So all you people in the same network, right? So that
Yes,
is
yes,
also
yes. That
that
is
is
the
as
best example.
yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
definitely.
So as Madam told, wide area network, it was spread across various areas other than only your location. Okay, I think
Right, right.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Just in
and
order to widen up the area constraint, no? So that is why WAN is used.
correct, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I think the last question we will take it up for this session is, how do we know if the security on your device or network is already compromised?
Okay, so this is very good question. Like if
Yes.
I talk about my system is compromised or not, you can go to the task manager and you can see that what all applications are working over there. If you see some like application which you have not installed, or you are unknown to it and you have not put it on, like it is working behind, maybe some virus or maybe some other kind of XYZ software, then you can trace it out from there. Okay. If you talk about network compromise, then network compromise will definitely be there. You can check it via SIEM, that is security information and event management. There are various kind of information security tools present over there that help us to detect the attack which is done in our internet or via our network traffic, what all intrusions are done. You can easily scan the IPs. You can even blacklist those IPs, those like you suspect some IP that this might be the attacker, you can blacklist it using firewall and all, right? So these all are the things that can help you to avoid the attacker as well, and will also tell you that what kind of attacks you are having on your network or on your LAN or on your system.
Yes, ma'am. I think this question also can just state this, ma'am. Should we not keep the secure data in the standalone computer, which is not connected to any network?
Should we not? I think the question is not
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
clear.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. I'll
Should we
just
not keep the secure data in standalone computer which is not connected to any network?
yes.
I think the question they are trying to ask that the data which is sensitive should not be kept in the system which is not connected to the network or
Yes.
which is connected to the network.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right. So it is like that. Maybe in the next session also, the when we will be talking about the passwords and passwords protection and password security, it is always guided that the sensitive data should not be kept neither on your system nor in any notebook or anything. You should keep it with yourself only. And definitely is some data which cannot be, you know, everything cannot be kept in mind. There is obviously some data or some documents which we need to keep it in the standalone computer. You can always have a backup for that, or you can encrypt it, or you can lock it also. And definitely you need to have these awareness tips for the information security so that your system cannot be attacked by someone. Okay. So this is not solution that you keep in stand in alone system and do not connect that computer to any kind of network. This is not a solution. Definitely you'll have to think about it.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your
Thank you so much,
time
sir.
as well as enlightening session. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Addressing
sir.
all the queries. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sir, ma'am, like we are not going to take any break. Like we will be moving to the next session on data and password and browser security. So like we are already behind the schedule, like because of initial inaugural talk, and after that like presentation and your queries and all. So now we are going to have a session on this data, a data, password, and the browser security. So for taking this session, we have with us Kajol Kashyap ma'am. She is from SIDAC Noida, and she has a vast experience in this information security domain, and she is also involved in some of the R&D projects involved in the information security as well as training in cyber security kind of thing. Okay, so thank you, ma'am, for joining with us, and now the platform is yours. So please continue the session on this data and these things. And before we hand it over to you, I think someone is asking like Arpita Das, the deep web and dark web. So wantedly we are not covering, sir. If time permits, in the afternoon session, we are going to talk about a bit about that deep web as well as dark web kind of thing, right? Otherwise, like we are continuing with the as planned. Okay, the data protection and online security kind of thing. So we welcome Kazal ma'am, and please continue the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So once again, a very good morning to all the respected participants present here. So in this particular session, we are going to focus more about that what is the importance of data protection in our day-to-day life, and how to secure our data, and how we can protect ourselves from the online attacks that are happening nowadays. So with this, let's start with our session. So here you can see the number of users which is present in India by 2022. So here you can see that there are 840 million internet users are here, and 70% of a percentage of e-commerce transactions are done via mobile phones, because the everybody nowadays are carrying mobile phones with themselves. So doing transactions through mobile phone are very easy and handy. So mostly people are preferring transactions doing online via their mobile phones. Next, we have 50% of travel transactions are done uh, via online mode, and then 175 million online developers are here, and 2.2 billion mobile connections we can see here, and 448 million social media users are here till now. So this is the current number of internet users in India right now. Next is let's start with very basic term, that is what actually is cybercrime. So if we are going to talk about cybercrime, then cybercrime is a criminal activity that will target your electronic devices. So it can be any device, it can be your mobile phone, it can be your computer, your laptop, your desktop, anything. So here the a person who is performing the crime is, we call it as a hacker or criminal. So what is the goal of hacker? The goal of hacker is to basically acquire your data which is present in your electronic devices. So if he's attacking on your mobile, the goal will be to get your videos, photos, whatever the data which is present in your mobile phone, he will be taking all of that. And whatever the data which is present in your other devices like laptop, any desktop, or if a hacker is attacking on a network, then he can basically block whole of your network and can gain all of the data. So here you can read one line, that a major attack vector of cybercrime is to exploit broken software. Now here the role of cybercrime is to exploit broken softwares. Means what hackers are doing, hackers are searching for those kind of softwares which basically are very easy to hack. So some people do not update their softwares or hardwares on a regular basis, and in some regular period of time they become weak, and because of that, uh, for hackers it becomes very easy to exploit, or we can say it becomes very easy to hack those softwares. So here the main role of cyber criminals is to search for these kind of software which people are using, and once they got these kind of softwares, they just hack those softwares and gather all of the data which is present in that particular device. So, if we are talking about cybercrime, then there comes three terms, that is vulnerability, threat, and risk. So, simply we will discuss one by one that what are the differences between these three terms. First one is vulnerability. So, vulnerability means weaknesses. This means weaknesses which is present in your hardware and softwares. So whenever in a similar way, whenever we are not updating our softwares and hardwares on regular basis, then in some in some period of time, our softwares and hardwares become weak. So this means a vulnerability can easily present in those hardwares and software, and any attacker can hack on those softwares. So this is basically vulnerability. It means the weaknesses in your hardware or software. Next is you can see here is threat. So a threat exploit a vulnerability that can damage or destroy an asset. So first of all, if there is some vulnerability in your software, definitely threat will also come, because the main work of threat is to exploit a vulnerability and can damage or destroy your asset. Next is risk. If there is a presence of vulnerability, or if there is presence of a threat, then definitely risk will also be there. So risk refers to the potential for any sort of we can say lost, any sort of damage, or any sort of destroyed asset. That what kind of risk is there in in destroying asset, in destroying anything, or what kind of risk is there in damage. So these are the three terms that is, interrelated with cybercrime. Let's move ahead. Here you can see threats in common applications that we are using. So nowadays we all are dependent on our mobile phones. For any work, we mostly use our mobile phones. And in our mobile phones, every app is present. For small work, we take help of those apps. This is a very good thing, but we shall not forget that there are some advantages of using these apps, but on the other hand, we have some disadvantages also of using these applications. First of all, we are using a lot of applications, like we are using online taxi applications, for going one place to another. We are taking help of Ola or Uber. And for education applications, we are using a lot of education applications for studying purpose. For banking applications, we are using a lot of banking applications. And then shopping applications, we are using job portals, chatting, instant messaging applications, travel and hotel booking applications, and online gaming. So all in all, we all are using, I think everyone is using mobile phones nowadays, and everybody is having these applications in their mobile phones, whether you are using Android version or whether you are a iOS user, right? So what happens is, when we download basically these applications, first they will ask us to register on these applications and make a profile on these applications. And sometime when the application is paid, they ask us the mode of payment, like for which mode of which from which mode of payment we want to check out these applications, like we want to use a credit card, we want to use a debit card, or we want to use some other payment mode. So when we are giving these payment mode options, we have to provide our information, like credit card information, debit card information, and we have to provide our personal information like name, mobile number, and email IDs, right? So what happens if one day these application got hacked? This can be done anytime, and our data will be breached. So this can be done anytime, anywhere. So we shall not forget that on the other hand, we are using these applications, but we shall use these applications on a very, very, like in a very, very systematic way. So whenever we are using or downloading these applications, first of all, what we can do, first of all, do not download any applications from the links or any third party website. First of all, if you are an iOS user, you can straightly go to the App Store and download all the applications from there itself. If you are an Android user, you can straightly go to Play Store and download all the applications from there. Please do not download any applications from the link, or any third party website, or any link that you receive on your social media applications like WhatsApp, Facebook. So please ignore downloading links, applications through these links. Second of all, download the applications only which you use on daily basis. So do not download a lot of applications in your mobile phone which you are not using. Just for the sake of entertainment, you are downloading a lot of application. No, please stop this and download only the applications which you are actually using on daily basis. Third is, while downloading the applications, you need to check the reviews and the rating of that applications, that what is the review and what kind of rating it has. And then next, whenever you have some applications, you need to regularly update those applications. Then only you will be able to secure your data in these applications. So we have to basically follow these particular points in order to uh, uh, in order to make ourselves safe from these kind of threats that is present in the common applications. Next, we have what actually is cybersecurity. So, cybersecurity can be described as the collective methods, technologies, and processes to help protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer systems. We can say your computer networks and data against any kind of cyber attacks or any kind of unauthorized access. So, here we can see that. The main purpose of cybersecurity is to protect all your organizational assets from, we can say, both external as well as internal threats, as well as we can say disruption caused due to natural disasters. So all in all, the main motive of cybersecurity is to protect your network, your data, your computer, your device from any kind of attack, damage, or any kind of unauthorized access. Unauthorized access means only the user of that device will be able to use that particular device, and no other third person can come and access that particular data or device. So this is unauthorized access. Now, apart from that, here you can see that as the internet users are increasing day by day, security threats are also, increasing day by day. So it is our duty that we basically use internet on a very systematic way, so that our data and we can actually protect ourselves and our family members, friends from the internet attacks. So here a major part of cybersecurity is to fix broken software. Now in the previous slide we had seen that the major part of cybercrime is to search for these kind of broken software and then exploit these kind of broken software. On the other hand, if we talk about cybersecurity, then the work of cyber professionals is to search for these kind of softwares and hardwares which are actually weak, and once they basically get that software, they basically scan those softwares and they find the vulnerability which is present in that software, and once they find that vulnerability they just fix those software so that no hacker can hack those software. So this is the work of cybersecurity professionalists, and they basically secure our data, our devices from any kind of attack or any kind of unauthorized access. All right. Next we have is goals of cybersecurity. Now, let's see what actually cybersecurity basically is doing for us. So, if we are talking about this particular cybersecurity, then there are three goals of cybersecurity. First is confidentiality. Second we have is integrity, and third one is availability. So, what? Let's talk one by one. So, first let's talk about the confidentiality. So confidentiality means, let's suppose I am working in a particular organization, okay, and in my department, I am accessing some data. So one day my friend come, he's from other organization. He come and he just sits in my chair and access something like some my data. So he shall not have the right to see that information, to see that data, or to see any information related to my project or my organization. So this is confidentiality. So no other third person can come and see information which is related to something. So this is confidentiality. So who only a person who is authorized to access a particular information can have the right to access that information, and no other third person can come, or no other unauthorized person can come and access that particular information. So this is confidentiality. Next one is integrity. So let me give you a very simple example. Let's suppose I am sending one message to my friend, hello, how are you? So my friend shall also receive the same message, hello, how are you? So if he or she received the different message instead of this, that means the integrity is lost. The integrity of that information is lost. If he or she receive the same message or the meaning is also same, that means the integrity of that information is maintained, otherwise integrity is lost. Next is availability. Availability means if I am authorized person and I need some kind of resources at any particular period of time, so it should be readily available to me. So this is availability, simple as that. Okay. Next, here you can see what is happening in just under 60 seconds, that is under 1 minute, on social media. So here you can see there are a lot of applications you can see here which we are using on daily basis. Now let's see what is actually happening in these social media application in just under 60 seconds. So here you can see Netflix, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat. So everyone now using these applications. So let's discuss one by one. Let me discuss first about Facebook. So if I talk about Facebook, then 1.4 million people are scrolling in just under 60 seconds. So you can imagine how much of people are actually engaged on Facebook in just under 60 seconds, that it is actually scrolling, Facebook is actually scrolling by 1.4 million people in just 60 seconds. And then we have Netflix. So on Netflix we can watch movies, we can watch shows anytime. So here we have 28,000 subscribers are watching in just under 1 minute. And then we have 69 millions are sent over Facebook Messenger as well as on WhatsApp Messenger. So we have 69 million messages are sent. Then we have 3.4 million snaps are created on Snapchat. So this is a particular app in which you can basically send snaps of each other, and the more snap you will send, the more strikes you will add in your that application. So this is how, all in all, the data is actually traveling on internet through these applications. And you can just imagine that this much of data is there in just under 60 seconds. Then what about other time, like what about 24 hours, and what about 3 days, 4 days? So this much of people are engaging in these social media applications nowadays. Next, we have a big question, that how does Google track you? So everybody asks that how does Google knows everything about them so well? So the reason behind this is we ourselves are providing our personal information to the Google itself. Let's see how. So all of us are using these components like Google Chrome, YouTube. Then we have the Google Maps, Hangouts, uh, the Photos app, the Calendar app, the Google search query, the Gmail, shopping, and ads and news. So all in all, through these components, we are actually giving our information to these components, and these will transfer our information to the Google, because all in all, they all are interrelated. So let's see how. Let's suppose I'm using Google Chrome. So whenever I'm not deleting my browser history, and whenever I'm not deleting my cache data, whatever the website I visited, whatever the things I do on daily basis, it will be saved in history. So through this, Google knows about me, that this kind of websites I like to visit more often. And today I visited this website, so it will show me a same website related to my search history. So this is how basically Google shows us the result. And then we have YouTube. So whatever the videos, whatever the kinds of videos we watch on YouTube, so this is how Google is giving the same uh, you know uh, kind of match to us, and showing us the same ads. And then the Google Maps. So whenever we basically go from one place to another, whenever we are using Google Maps, whatever we location search for or visited, it will be automatically saved in Google Maps, and it will be marked that on this particular date I basically visited this place. So Google knows about this. And then there is one application which we call it as a Hangout. So this mostly present in Android Android mobile phones. So the work of this particular Hangout application is to save all of your contacts and conversation. What happens is, when you open this particular application for the first time, it will ask you that do you want to make default of your contacts and conversation of this particular application. If you click on yes, it will make default of your contacts in the conversation, which means the next time you open your contacts, it will open in Hangout, and the next time you open your conversation or messages, it will open in Hangout application. So this is how it will copy all your contacts and conversation and send it to Google. Next we have is photos application. So whenever you tag people and places in that photos, just to remember and just for the memory purpose, it will permanently saved in that particular application, and information is sent to Google. And then we have calendar application. So mostly people are habitual to mark their upcoming plans and appointments just to make sure that they reach there on time. So this is also pass on to the Google. And then we have Google search browser. So whatever you the queries you search on this particular browser, it will automatically be shared with Google. And Gmail, everybody knows about Gmail. If you save your contacts there, if you whatever the emails you send there, whatever the emails you receive, what kind of email content are there, it will automatically share with Google. And then the shopping applications. So if you are login with your Gmail account on that particular shopping applications, so whatever the products you searched on, whatever you clicked on, it will send it to Google, and the next time you visit on any website, it will show you the same product which you have wishlisted in your shopping app. So this is how you see that particular the same product, and you are like, okay, let's buy this product, I'm seeing this product again and again. So this is how this is the basically tactic of Google, so that you shop online. And yeah, and the next time what sometimes you basically use open one website, and you see a very interesting ad, and you just click on that ad, and while clicking on that ad, you find it very interesting, and you fill any of your information there if they ask, then definitely this information is passed on to the Google. And the news websites you visited, this is also stored, the information is stored on Google. So all in all, this is how we ourselves are responsible for providing our information to the Google, and Google is showing our interest topics again and again. So next we have is digital footprints. This particular topic is very interesting, and most of us are not aware about this particular topic, that what actually is this particular thing and how actually this is working. So let's see what actually are digital footprints. So a digital footprint is a trail of data you create while using the internet. So from day one, you had started using the internet till now, everything is storing on the internet in a particular file from your name. So this is actually digital footprints. So this is a trail of data you create while using the internet. It includes the websites you visit, the emails you send, and the information you submit to online services. So till now, whatever the websites you had visited, whatever the emails you send, and what kind of information you send to online services, everything is stored on internet in a particular file from your name. So this is actually digital footprint. So we need to be careful about what we are actually sharing on the internet, where we are actually sharing on the internet, and with whom we are actually sharing on the internet, because everything is storing on the internet. You can delete your information from your device, but you will not be able to delete your information from the internet once it is posted. So once you have posted anything over internet, nobody will ever be able to delete that particular information from the internet. So this is how powerful internet is. Second thing is, you will think that whether it is possible to delete your digital footprint. So the answer is a big no. You will not be able to, delete your digital footprint. Once the information is gone, it is actually gone. That is why we are actually, sharing this particular tips, that you need to be careful from now onwards, that what actually you are sharing on internet, where you are sharing on the internet, that like what is the platform, and you need to think twice before sharing anything over internet, and with whom you are sharing that information, and what can be the impact of that sharing thing on the internet. Then we have two type of digital footprints. First one is passive, other one is active. Now talking about one by one. So if I talk about passive, so a passive digital footprint is a data trail you unintentionally leave online. So this is the information you leave online, you leave on the internet, and you will not be basically you are not basically you are leaving the information unintentionally. For example, if I give you, let's suppose you open your office website or any website. So in this particular time, you have shared your IP address with the internet. You have shared your internet service provider information, and you have shared your approximate location, all in all. So while this has been shared, we are not aware. So this is passive digital footprint, that you have shared your information on the internet and you are actually not aware about this. On the other hand, if I talk about active one, so active one are the information that we have shared about on the internet and we know about it. For example, let's suppose you are new to any social media application, and firstly, if you are new, they will ask you to register in that um, social media applications, and they will ask you to make a profile on that. So for profile, you have to provide your personal information like your name, your um, email address, your hobbies, from which school you had studies, from which college you had graduated, where you are currently working, where you had worked in the past. And we are happily providing all of our information to that social media application, right? So this is actually we are providing our information to the internet, and once it is gone, it is gone for lifetime. So this is actually active digital footprint. We are solely responsible for providing our information to the internet. So these are the major differences between these two digital footprints. So what we can do, we basically be smart about like what kind of sites we are actually visiting, because everything is storing on the internet. What sites you are visiting, what kinds of site you are visiting, and what kinds of emails you are opening, what kinds of links you are clicking upon. So we need to be careful. Basically, do not click on any sort of link that you receive, right? So this we can do in order to protect ourselves from now onwards, because the data we have shared with the internet, that is actually shared. We cannot do anything for that. But from now onwards, from now this point of time, what we can do, we can take a lot of precautions while using internet. So be careful what kind of websites you are visiting, be careful what kind of emails you are opening, be careful what kinds of links you are clicking upon. Now, how to preserve your digital footprints? Always think long term before anything, posting anything over anywhere, and avoid making virtual or online friends, because you never know who is the person sitting behind that particular screen. If she's showing her profile as a female, maybe the person can be a male. So how can we trust? So avoid making virtual or online friends. Accept the friend request of only persons that you know in real life, and then keep your personal information private. Verify the profile on different platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This means if you receive any sort of friend request on your social media, what you can do before accepting the friend request, you can go to different social media platforms and search for the same person. If you find the same person, and if you find the information that person has shared is actually genuine, definitely you can add that person. Otherwise, sometime also happens is we basically uh, we get a request of a person, and when we search for that person on other platforms, we basically don't find any information of that person. So this can be a very we can say that can be a fake person also. So you can do this thing and use privacy setting on social networking pages. So every application, every social media application has privacy settings. So you can go there and you can just read out that what is the privacy settings option there for me, and how we can use those privacy settings in order to protect our data as much as possible. So definitely you need to go in the privacy settings or of every social media application that you are using nowadays, and you can just use that privacy settings options in each and every application of yours, and protect your privacy and privacy of your friends. Definitely if something you find fishy in your friend's profile, definitely you can inform that friend that this kind of activity is going on with your profile. Definitely. And have a time limit on time spent on social media. Do not spend a lot of time on social media, because that will be a kind of waste. So just spend time with your family and friends, that will be fruitful. Okay, let's move on to this particular terms, that what actually are the primary threats to device security. So as we had discussed, we are mostly using a lot of devices in our day-to-day life. So there are a lot of primary threats that can occur with these devices. So these are the major, threats that we can basically see in the device security. First one is viruses and worms. So any viruses and worms can be, come in our device and can, uh, can take all of that data from that device. So let's see what actually are viruses, and then we will discuss worms and then Trojans and spywares. So if I talk about virus, so a computer virus is a malicious software program loaded onto a user computer without the user knowledge and perform malicious action. So user will not be able to know that something fishy is running in their system, something is, something fishy is there in his laptop or desktop or mobile phones. So once the virus is there, it will do all the malicious actions and user will not be able to guess. Next we have is computer worm. So computer worm is a type of malware that spreads copies of itself from computer to computer. So a worm can replicate itself without any human interaction, and it does not need to attach itself to a software program in order to cause any sort of damage. So this is how the work of computer worms are. So worms can be transmitted mostly, we can say software vulnerability via software vulnerabilities. So this is how the dangerous are software vulnerabilities, software weaknesses. So if your software is weak, definitely worms can, attach themselves, or sorry, worms can be transmitted via software's vulnerabilities. Or computer worms could arrive as attachments in spam mails or instant messaging. So once the user click on the attachments, these file could provide a link to a malicious website or automatically download the computer worm. So once it is installed, the worm silently goes to work and infect the machine without the user knowledge. So this is how uh, harmful the computer worms are. Yeah. Next one we have is Trojan. So Trojan, or we can say Trojan horse, is a type of malicious code, or we can say software that will look legitimate but can take control of your computer. So Trojan is designed to damage, disrupt, steal, or we can say do some harmful action on your data or network. Next we have is spyware. So spyware is a kind of, we can say, software which basically used to steal information, or we can say that can track your online activity. So once the spyware software is installed in your laptop or desktop or mobile phone, whatever you do on your device, it will track all of your online activity. First, let's suppose if you are going to log in your bank account, net banking, so it can also detect that thing also. It will track all of your activity, whatever you are doing. Or if it will display a lot of ads. So once you click on those ad, it will lead you to some malicious website, or it will automatically make the malware to download in your device. So this is how the harmful these kind of spyware softwares are. Next, you can see here is very interesting thing that malvertising. So this is very trending nowadays. What actually is malvertising is? So malvertising is an attack in which hackers will inject malicious code into legitimate online advertising network. So nowadays, what hackers are doing? Hackers are searching for these kind of advertisements on the internet, which will look very, very, attracting. So once they find that attracting advertisements, they will inject one malicious code behind that application. And when you basically visit any website, that malicious advertisement will basically pop up on your website. And if you find that interesting, definitely you will click on that advertisement. And once you click on it, automatically malware will come into your device. So this is how malvertising is actually working. This has been made from two words, malware and advertisement. So in advertisement, one malicious code has been injected. Once you click on that advertisement, automatically malware will come into your device. So this is how malvertising is going to work. Next we have is cyber frauds. So let's see that what are the cyber frauds that is happening nowadays. So first one is increase in phishing attacks. So phishing attacks are very famous from previous time, but nowadays we have seen a lot of increase in phishing attacks. And then we have tab nabbing, identity theft, donation scams, mass scams. In donation and mass scams, what we are actually facing, we receive a lot of emails related to donations that due to this COVID-19 pandemic situation, you can donate this much money or any money to this particular person or kind of thing. So if you donate your money, then definitely you can be a victim of cyber fraud, because how can we trust that the donation mail is from a genuine or from a fake person? And you can also see mass scams like you can we receive a lot of emails like click on this particular link and fill the information and you will win free mask or free sanitizers kind of stuff. So this is actually the tactic of hackers in order to gather your information, and in that pop-up they will ask information about you, like your name, your email address, your phone number. Sometimes they ask your cards detail, like debit card details, and if we do not look at it carefully, they will ask a lot of information about us, and any scam can happen with us. And then we have ransomware attack and keylogger attack. So let's discuss these attacks one by one, and how let's see how we can protect ourselves from these kind of attacks. So first let's discuss what actually is identity theft. So identity theft is the crime of obtaining the personal or financial information of another person to use their identity to, we can say, commit fraud, such as making unauthorized transactions or purchases. And identity theft is committed in many different ways, and its victims are typically left with, we can say, damage to credit card, finances, and damage to the reputation. So this is how identity theft is actually very, very harmful cyber fraud. And then information often targeted by identity thieves includes, so what is the main goal when a hacker is actually performing identity theft? So the main goal is to acquire your password of any account, like social media account, bank account, or your bank account information, credit card numbers, information stored on user computer, mobile phones, such as your contacts, videos, images, sensitive documents, and all. So these are the main target of identity thieves in order to perform identity theft attack. So what can be the prevention? So always safeguard your personal information and protect your password as much as possible. Never ever share your passwords with anyone, even with your friends and families. Do not share your passwords, and be debit credit card smart. You need to basically check the monthly basis the credit report and the debit report of your account, and then destroy shred receipts not required. One thing we have seen a lot, that while using ATMs, whenever you are done with the transaction, we all just throw it, that transaction slip, on the floor, not even in the dustbins. We just throw it on the floor and we just get out of that ATM, which is actually not good. What can happen is any unauthorized person, or we can say any hacker, can visit that ATM and can, take all of that transaction slips and can get data of your account, of your bank, right? So this shall not be done. Whenever you are done with the transactions, you need to throw that slip, just firstly just tear that slip in small pieces, just shred it, and then throw it in the dustbin only, not on the floor only, because ATM is accessible to everyone, so any person can visit, and we never can say that what is the you know uh, ex- what is the intention of that person who is actually visiting the ATM. And then review your records regularly. Be cautious with phishing links. Do not click on the any link that you receive on your mails, your social media applications, because that can be phishing links. And monitor your online accounts. This means if you are having any sort of online accounts on social media, you need to monitor it. This shall not be the case that you have made your social media accounts just for like fun, and now you are not using it, because any hacker can hack your online account, any social media account, and can use it for committing any sort of crime. So if you have the social media account, then please monitor it carefully, and use some privacy setting on that. And if you are not using it, then definitely delete your account as soon as possible. And then be careful with public Wi-Fi. If you are using public Wi-Fi, never ever access your personal information, or never ever access any sort of transactions while using public Wi-Fi. This can be done in order to prevent any sort of identity theft crime. So what to do if you are a victim of identity theft? You need to change your passwords as soon as possible and report it to police immediately that you are a victim of identity theft, and contact your bank or any sort of financial institution. Next we have is Keylogger. So what actually are Keylogger? Let's see. So Keylogger is a software or hardware which is capable of recording input from a computer keyboard and intercepting keystrokes without the user knowledge. So whatever you type on your keyboard, everything is storing in a particular file in a plain text format. So this is how the dangerous is Keylogger softwares. Whatever the user will type, let's suppose you log in into your net banking account and you will type your username and the password. It will also save it in a particular text format, in a plain text format, in a particular file. So this is how the dangerous the keylogger software are. Now we have two type of keyloggers. First one is software and the other one is hardware. Now the software one are the simple. If there are software keylogger, whatever you type through your keyboard, it will record each keystroke. And the hardware one are these kind of in looking. This one, the black thing that you can see here, which you mostly find in cyber cafes. So whenever you are using cyber cafes, make sure that you check this particular black thing which can be injected behind the CPU. So whenever you are using cyber cafes, just please make sure that you have checked these kind of thing, that this is not there in the particular system. So this is how the dangerous these keyloggers are. Okay, next one we have is phishing. So phishing, we can say, is a cyber crime in which targets or a lot of targets are contacted by email, telephone, or text messages by someone posing as a legitimate institution to fool individuals into providing their personal information, like their banking information, like their debit card information, their credit card information, their passwords, and a lot of details. And if you tell them all of these details or any of the details, definitely you will be a victim of this phishing scam. So here we have added a lot of examples of phishing uh, websites. So here hackers are using these kind of tactics. They are basically targeting big websites, and they are creating a replica of these big websites. Like in this particular case, the hacker is using www.gmai1.com. So instead of L, they are using 1. And in ICICI Bank, instead of B, they are using 6 because it's look just like similar like B, and 1 is looking similar like L. And then Bank of India, so instead of O, they are using 0, and in the Yahoo, they are using 00. So right now we can read the spelling, and we can read each and every letter. But when we basically access it on the on proper URL, on proper website, we basically do not check the URL, or we basically do not check the spelling of the URL, and we just access these kind of websites, and so that we basically we do not check it, right? So if we do not check it, we can be a victim of phishing websites. So this is how the hackers are fooling us. Now the question is how to identify fake phishing websites. Now in this particular session, we are going to learn that how we can uh, check the website is a phishing website or a genuine website without using any sort of tool or without using any sort of software. So let me just share my browser and let's see, just a second. All right, so I have opened my browser, and the main motive of coming here is to check is to basically check that a website is a phishing website or a genuine website, so that we will not be a victim of phishing websites. Okay, so let's suppose let me take any website. Let me take CDAC website itself. Okay, so now we have to check whether the CDAC website is a genuine website or a fishy website. Okay, so one day I got one link, um, um please reach out to this particular website and fill your information here. So before giving my information to that website, I will check whether the website is a genuine or a fake website. Okay, so I have opened this particular website. Now what I will do, firstly I will check whether it has this particular padlock or not. Okay, so this small lock, we call it as a padlock. Okay, so if it has this particular small lock, we just click it here, and we just see this connection is secure. Okay, now we click here. Here it is saying us connection is secure. Okay, and now if we want to see more information, we can click on certificate is valid, and we can see that this is the certificate. This is the digital certificate of the particular website, and the details are given here. You can see this. So these are the journal information that is related to this particular website. Okay, so here you can definitely, like this, you can check this is actually the genuine website. Okay, so this is how you can basically check through these particular points whether the website is a genuine website or a fake website. So let me just go back to PPT. All right. Next attack we have is tab nabbing. So let's see what actually happens in tab nabbing. So as the name is saying, tab nabbing means basically it is a kind of phishing scam when you open a lot of tabs. Whenever you work while opening a lot of tabs, tab nabbing attack can happen with you. So let's see one small example through which it will be more clear to all the participants. So here there is one user who is busy in accessing a lot of tabs at one time. So he has opened a lot of tabs, like 5 to 6 tabs at one time. First one he has opened is electronics and car tabs, and the second one is Flipkart tab, and the third one is some website which we call it as a Hindu, and then TechCrush, information security and education awareness portal, some banking website, and then India development portal something. Okay, so he at once he was busy in accessing a lot of old tabs. Okay, so I would like to you to concentrate on the first tab. It is, if it is actually visible to you. First tab is of eBay page, which is showing the page of electronics and the cars. Okay, now what is actually happening here is the user has opened this particular tab, and from some from some period of time, he has not accessed the first tab, he has not accessed this eBay page, and he was busy in accessing all the other tabs, all the other website, but from few hours he has not visited this particular website, this particular tab. Now what happens is he has not visited from few hours, so after few hours the tab got connecting to some other website, and it is showing this particular thing connecting. So first I've started connecting to some other website. When you are accessing other website, when user are accessing other website, So now when the user basically come back after few hours, he come back to this particular first tab, he see that the Gmail page is open, and he was not remember that whether the page, what page or what website was opened. So he thought, okay, Gmail was open, and he just come here and just uh, sign in this particular Gmail account, and he provide his username and the password. So what actually is fishy here is, first of all, the URL is not correct. The URL here is gmai1.com, which is a phishing website. And when the user gives his username and the password, it will straightly goes to the hacker. And he knows now that this is the username and the password of the user. So this is how tab nabbing attack are going to perform. So never ever basically open a lot of tabs whenever you are doing anything. Never ever open a lot of tabs and do your stuff. Always open one or two tabs and try to do the things there. And before doing anything new, you need to refresh the browser after returning back from other tabs. Second thing, before giving any information to anything, or before logging in any form, you need to check the URL of that particular spelling of the URL. Okay. And then avoid financial transactions on tabbed browser, and always use private windows for financial transactions. So every browser has private windows. You can go there if you want to do any sort of financial transactions. You can go there and you can use private windows definitely. Now next one we have is ransomware. So ransomware is a type of malware that will prevent or limit users from accessing their system, either by locking the system screen or by locking the user file, unless a ransom is paid. So when you paid him some money or any sort of other ransomware, then only you will be able to use your system or your file. So we have two type of ransomware. First one we have is crypto, and the other one we have is locker. So in crypto ransomware, it will prevent the user to access to their personal files and data. So in case of crypto, your files and the data will be logged out, and uh, when you provide the some ransom to hacker, then only he will provide you the key to decrypt your data or file. And in the case of locker ransomware, your whole system, your whole device will be logged out, and you will not be able to use any single thing on your system. Okay, so this is the major difference between these two ransomwares. Now talking about password security. So there are various techniques used by hackers or crackers to retrieve your passwords. So let's see one by one that what are the tactics that hackers are actually using in order to retrieve our passwords. So first one is the very simple technique that they are using is shoulder surfing. Let's suppose you are sitting on your office desktop, and someone standing behind you is looking at your screen, and you're trying to logging in some of your websites. So what he or she is actually doing in and standing behind you is actually looking at your screen and trying to uh, check your username and the password of that particular website. So this is actually shoulder surfing. It can be done anywhere. It can be done on public places like parks, like lifts. Whenever you are using lifts, sometimes we are busy in logging in some websites or on social media applications, and we forget that there are few persons that are standing behind us. They can also watch it in our phone screen, like. And there are few lifts which have the cameras also, so your screen can be captured in the cameras also. So this is actually shoulder surfing. This is very common, and this basically happens because of our silly mistakes. So before accessing anything over public places or anywhere, just look behind yourself, and if you are stop accessing your personal information whenever you are in public places. Simple. Next is writing your passwords on paper. So this is the biggest mistake that we are doing. We are actually writing our passwords and the user IDs on sticky note, and we are sticking it on our office desktop. So this can be a very silly thing, because anyone can visit on your office chair and can see, okay, this is the password and the username of that person, right? So stop this particular thing. And then next we have is brute force attack. So in brute force attack, this is basically a popular cracking methods. So in brute force attack, it will basically involve guessing your username and the password. So now if you are using very common username and the password, like your username is your email, and your password is something like abcd12345, because it's a very very common password. So anyone, if a person knows your email, anyone can easily guess your password also. So never ever try to use these kind of passwords like your name, your mobile number, your um organization name, or any sort of like abcd12345, or some people are still using abcd12345. This is very very small silly mistakes that we are doing, these kind of things. Yeah, so what we can do in order to make sure that our password is actually strong and nobody can ever hack that, and we also will be able to remember those passwords also. And the next thing is how we can use different passwords for different applications or different accounts. This is actually a possible. We will see it in next slide. Next is dictionary attack. So if you are thinking that you will take one difficult word from dictionary and you will use it as your password, and you will actually secure your account and your account will not be able to hack, definitely you are wrong. So what actually happening nowadays, there are advanced tools which are there, which will basically scan all the dictionary words, like A to Z dictionary words, in few minutes. And there are some algorithms which hackers can basically use, and they will basically scan whole dictionary words in few minutes, and they will basically give the result as, okay, this is the password of this particular user. So never ever use these dictionary words as your passwords, because these are very very easy to hack. So do not write your passwords anywhere. Do not give your passwords to anyone over phone, over social media, and never ever send your passwords via any email. So now what we can do in order to make sure that our passwords are good, our passwords are unique, and we can use different passwords for different accounts. So the answer is switch to passphrase. Now what actually is passphrase? Passphrase is actually taking your favorite sentence. It can be anything. In my case, my favorite sentence is never judge a book by its cover. Okay. Now I have taken this particular sentence. I will create my password from this particular sentence, so that because this is my favorite sentence, and I will remember this particular sentence for like ever, right? So now I will create password from this particular sentence. So I have taken small n from never. I have taken j from judge. I have taken at symbol from a because it looks same like A. I have taken 6 from B. I have taken again 6 from by. And I have taken exclamation sign from I because it is the opposite of I and it looks similar and it is much easy to remember. And from cover, I have taken capital C. So this is how my password is actually has letters, numbers, special characters, and is actually strong. And I can remember this particular password, right? Now I don't need to be fear out that okay, I will forget my password, because I know my passphrase, right? And like how I can remember this password. So this is how the passphrases actually work. You can take your favorite sentence and can create your password, your own password. You can take a screenshot of this particular slide, so that you will create your password like this only. Any sentence you can take. Okay. So okay, I think everybody has taken the screenshot. Let's move. Uh, so let's see some preventions. So refresh the browser after returning back from other tabs. First suggestion is never ever open a lot of tabs while doing any sort of work. But if you are doing, then please refresh your browsers. If even if you are using one browser, one tab or two tabs, still you need to refresh your browser or your tab. Avoid phishing emails and questionable answers. Do not answer the questions which internet asks us. Like sometimes we visit on a particular website, we see a lot of tabs which ask us questions like uh, your name, your email ID, your phone number. Do not answer those questions. That can be phishing websites. Use private browsing for doing any sort of personal things or transactions. Always use updated antivirus software. One thing we would like to tell you that please do not use free softwares or free antivirus software, because nothing is available on the internet for free of cost, right? So nothing is freely available on internet. You need to use your good softwares or good antivirus software which are paid, not the free antivirus software. Increase your browser security settings. So every browser has whatever the browser you are using, because everyone is using different browser. And right now this is not possible to you know tell you each and every browser security settings, because it will take a lot of time. So what you can do, whatever the browser you are using, you can go to the security settings of that browser and just make sure read out each and every point that what this security feature is giving you, and you can just select those security settings, security input according to you, so that your browser will be totally secure. This is all of the essential things that we basically neglect on daily basis. Okay, first of all, we need to make sure that whenever we are accessing internet, we are accessing in a very secure way. We are we have increased our browser security settings. We have used privacy security settings on our social media accounts, and whatever you are using, it is actually secure. Okay, and then avoid financial transactions on tabbed browsers, and do not fall for tabs that tempt you into downloading free software. As we had discussed, nothing is available on the internet that is free of cost. Always clear cookies, cache, and history on daily basis. So whenever you are done with your work, just try to delete your cookies, cache, and history. Disable auto connect when joining networks, and never reuse passwords for Wi-Fi. Change the name of your default Wi-Fi network. Some people are still using their name and a password as admin and admin. So this can be a very bad thing. Just change the name of your default Wi-Fi network. Disable your wireless home network while you are not at home, because anyone can attack on your Wi-Fi and can can enter in your Wi-Fi network. Do use two-factor authentication on everything possible. So nowadays, whatever the applications are there, all are two-factor authenticated approved. So what actually is two-factor authentication? Let's suppose I want to use right now Facebook. So when I go to the Facebook, I have to first log in. So before login, um, yeah, so I have to first log in. So I have to provide my username and the password. So when I click on sign in, it will ask me a security code which will come in my mobile phone. When I provide that security code, then only I will be able to log in that Facebook app. Otherwise not. So this is a very good thing. If someone tries to hack on your Facebook account, let's suppose if someone knows your Facebook username and the password, they try to sign in, and then they have to provide one more step, that is OTP, which will come in on your mobile phone. So you will be able to know that someone has tried to log in my Facebook app. So this is a very good thing, two-factor authentication, and mostly application are having this two-factor authentication. Gmail is having, Facebook is having, Instagram is having. And whatever the applications you are using, just try to check. You will find this in settings option, or there is one other separate feature of this two-factor authentication also. So you can go and check. And do not install apps from third party. And you need to record your IMEI number of your mobile phone in case if your phone is stolen or lost. You need this IMEI number. Okay. Next is never open email attachments with the file extensions such as VBS, FHS, and PIF. And never open web links in your email. Always type links on web browser. And never download anything from the email when the sender is unknown or the attachment has a doubtful name. Never trust the icons in the email attachment. The virus file may be shown as a PDF file, And never send your photograph through email to unknown persons. Do not respond to spam mails without verification of email origin. So here we have only made it to the conclusion that the only system which is truly secure is the one which is switched off and unplugged, and the others are actually not secure. So only way to be safe is to pay attention and is to act smart. Here, the mantra of online safety is to pause and think before you connect, secure yourself, and secure the nation. So, thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay secure, do your part, be cyber smart. If you have any question, you can definitely ask me, or you can definitely mail me also. My email ID is this particular. Let me show you. This is my email ID, kajalkashyap@cdat.in. So, if you have any questions, you can definitely send me a mail. I will try to answer all of those mails. So, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Kazer, for your wonderful and excellent session. I think it was very nicely explained, and I think most of the participants might have been understood like what they have to do, kind of thing, right? So, like, Sarmam, like, if you have any queries, kindly keep it in the chat area so that we will try to respond those